deliberately cooking
Solomon Adufah.
Take.
Hey, welcome guys.
Next time do this. Like to do a take on it. Trust me, it works.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of Internal Pursuit. Thank you for coming by, stopping by to check out our very first episode. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Alright, so today I'm blessed to have a very good friend of mine that I've known for about 12 years now, Solomon Adufah.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
No
Man.
problem,
That's
no
awesome.
problem. Alright, man. It's almost kind of funny because, you know, I've known this guy for a while, so actually getting behind the camera and talking to him in this type of setting is a little different.
Right.
We actually, funny joke actually, we actually did this whole interview yesterday, and we got done with the interview. It was like a 30-minute just conversation, talking, you know, recording, and I didn't even check to see if the microphone was working. Yeah, the whole thing, they have sound. So we're trying again today. Hopefully we get a better outcome, right? So we've already tested out the microphone. Hopefully it works and we're good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yes. Thank you for stopping by, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
So, Salva, why don't you tell us about where you grew up in Ghana and just where you were born and all that sort.
So I was born in Ghana, West Africa. I migrated to the United States about 15 years ago to join my mother here with two other siblings of mine. You know, while being here, I've just been, you know, pursuing a career for myself in the arts.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so born in Ghana, Dumasi?
Dumasi, yeah.
Dumasi, okay. Okay, I grew up in Ghana, so I left at a really young age, so I don't really know a lot of a lot of the cities and stuff. But Dumasi, okay.
Yeah.
That's in the northern region, or?
Oh, Dumasi is in the eastern
Region
yes.
of Ghana. So eastern region of Ghana, if you guys are into geography and want to learn what that is, Dumasi, eastern region.
Yeah.
But yeah, so fast forward, born in Ghana, grew up a little bit in Dumasi. Did your passion for art start then, or was it like later on in life where you?
I mean, while I was in Ghana, I always had a passion for art, whether it's through painting, drawing, or just like trying out my amateur skills, and in craft work generally. I was always that kid.
Right.
I was always that kid that would be doing the creative workshops and projects for our school and competitions, drawing competitions and what have you. So that has always been something that I've always been passionate about.
Okay.
But I kind of put that to the side for a little bit when I might transitioned here to the United States to pursue architecture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you one of those Ghanaian kids that made the cars out of the tinfoil?
Yeah, I was exactly
made the tires out of the slippers you found?
I was exactly
That's
that.
pretty cool.
Exactly that type of kid. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, so fast forward, move here.
Yeah.
15 years ago, you went into high school.
Yeah.
This is about the time where we met.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So high school. So yeah, just walking through high school and just your pursuit of art and where that took you. And,
right. I did 2 years of high school here in the States, and from then on, when I continued to pursue a career in architecture.
Architecture.
Initially, and I did architecture for about at least 4 to 5 years before deviating to fine art, which was my true passion to begin with.
Oh wow! Okay.
So that's kind of like the initial timeline.
Okay. Okay. So went into high school, went into college thinking you wanted to pursue architecture.
Yeah. Actually pursued that.
You actually pursued
Yeah.
pursuing architecture, and about what time did you in college did you figure out that architecture isn't for me, and I want to go long term with
around my last year.
Yeah. Okay.
It was one of those things where I had to make some decisions in my life about what made me happy, because at that time I was going through a whole lot. I was very depressed because I was in a field that just wasn't fulfilling,
right,
and wasn't fulfilling the purpose that I wanted pursue something I enjoyed doing.
Right.
Something I wasn't too passionate about. It was okay, right? But I did not feel that it was something that I saw myself being in or doing for the rest of my life. And I had a lot of setbacks and thinking about it and trying to put myself in a position to make the transition from that into pursuing what my true passion was, which was art.
Okay.
So after a lot of seeking after mentorship, advice from people that I trusted in my circle, it came down to the decision I had to make for myself, for me, and not for anybody else. So it was on a Christmas night, actually, to be frank. They actually, I told my family, hey, guys, like,
over Christmas dinner.
Yeah, I don't see myself going back.
Was this before you opened up the presents or after?
I really don't remember. I hope not. But I just had to let them know that this wasn't the path that I'll be going.
What was the initial reaction? Were they support? I know your family's very supportive.
Absolutely.
Now,
yeah.
But I mean, I could almost.
Initial reaction is always shocking, because and to be frank, it's just that I've invested a lot. At that time, I've invested a lot into it, right?
Into school,
all these student loans and what have you that have gone into it, and also just time in itself. This big chunk of my life.
You were almost at the finish line.
Right, this chunk of my life that has gone into that, and I'm just gonna kind of like throw it all away, and it's like take that leap of faith into something else. So of course, that was expected, but at the same time, my mind was made at that point already before I approached talking about it. It's not like I went there seeking advice on whether or not.
Yeah, you would tell them this
my mind was already made at that point, so it was more so just breaking the news to them and letting the chips,
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, like waiting. When the finish line is there, like a lot of people are like excited and run towards it, but it was kind of the opposite for you, where it's like you felt like you were running to a career or down a path where it was going to be detrimental for you. It wasn't. You would rather pursue something that you were passionate about than pursue something that would make other people happy. While you're suffering.
Right, and I didn't want to waste any more time, in other things. Yeah. So I just make that decision. And that the rest was history. Yeah,
I will say, man, that was a very big move on your hand. I don't know if I would be able to do that. My last year, I'm like, I'll suck it up a little bit more. Maybe I'll get out there and like it. Which is
but then
honestly
again, it's a whole year too. So you have to.
Which is honestly what I did, and I'm kind of in this position where it's like, I don't love what I'm doing. And that's why I look up to. That's why we're having this talk actually because. I feel like a lot of times, especially coming from African background, African roots, when you come to the United States, you better be a lawyer, you better be a CPA, you better be an engineer. Yeah. Hey, don't get me wrong, those fields are needed.
Absolutely.
They're stable fields, and I see why parents push their kids to pursue those fields. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like certain fields are also lacking, and because of those reasons, like art, for instance, and I feel like when we're pushed to pursue these things, we end up. I feel like we're gonna have a generation where a lot of us are depressed. We're gonna end up retiring, not loving our job and just being feeling like we wasted time. So I feel like, there's a lot of people out there right now that are, being pushed or feel like they need to pursue a certain career just, to fit in or make other people happy. But, that's why, like I said, we're here having this talk because you chose, regardless of what people think, what your parents think, what your family thought, even though they are supportive now. But you didn't care at the moment what support you got or not. You were in for the long run, you know? So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and for me also, it's just, part of what we talk about, filling in those shoes and attaining those things that's expected of you. Yeah. Like for me personally, my mom is in the medical field, right? My sister, when we relocated here, followed my mom's footsteps into becoming a doctor. my brother went into an engineering, right, like the typical thing.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like the, I was
the
other side of the brain, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure out, okay, I want to go here, but that's not really where my passion lies. You know, so it was just it was specifically that. You know, and there was no way really around it.
Yeah.
And for that chunk of my life, I was led into that position of attaining and filling in those shoes. Right. But eventually, it caught up. You know, it caught up with me.
Right. Decided to make the move, and I can almost guarantee that there's a lot of people out there that are in your shoes.
I talk to people all the time about it.
Yeah, that shoes you were in at that time, you know, where they have siblings who are in med school or siblings who are already engineers, and you know they feel like they're chasing something that they're not meant to do.
Precisely.
You know, so yeah, that's actually a great point. So if you are in those shoes, or if not, you know, or you're thinking about, you know, making a change and actually pursuing something that you actually love, and you know, something that you feel like, or you feel empty, you know, you feel like the path that you're going on as far as career wise is not for you, and you're making other people happy. I hope that this talk, you know, kind of stirs something in your brain, or maybe even motivates you to actually, you know, pick up that paintbrush or pick up that camera to, you know, start taking those pictures and, you know, be creative, whatever it may be, or your passion may be. Hopefully this talk will inspire you to start doing those things again.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So you know, fast forward, college, senior year, decided to switch majors.
Right.
So you ended up finishing. How long did that take you to actually finish up?
Actually, 2 years.
2 years. So like you went to school for masters, pretty much, right?
Pretty much. Well,
yeah. Okay. So 2 years, came out with your. Actually, let's backtrack a little bit, because during the time you were in college, you started to explode a little bit on social media.
Right.
And you were actually doing not-for-profit work while pursuing your degree in Ghana. Can you actually tell us about your not-for-profit?
So I'm a founder of an incredible not-for-profit called Homeland Africa, and what we basically do is just teach children how to manifest their dreams and aspirations through creative studies and art. Simply put, and that we provide educational resources, creative resources to institutions in rural communities that may not have these resources in. And we also go there and teach workshops and creative studies, practices to the children in those institutions. So we are heavily involved in the groundwork, you know, of things, not just like distributing resources.
Right.
That was something that I wanted to do when I decided to pursue art as a career, because I imagined myself being one of those children in those same positions growing up. I remember one of the earliest memories about my childhood was that I grew up in a small village, you know, Odumansi. Like then around that time, my village didn't have electricity. So how we actually able to entertain ourselves was that my uncle was a taxi driver, and then we would take out his car battery and put some spark plugs on it and connect it to like a small black and white TV set.
Wow.
And that was how we were able to watch TV.
Wow.
And but through that, I was able to watch like cartoons and you know, sketch out certain characters, you know, that I enjoy seeing. And that was my way of practicing. You know.
So that was you will say that was your initial aspiration. That's where it started your aspiration to become an artist. You
Precisely.
know, just seeing how, you know, all these cartoons on TV and all this artwork, and
that's what sparked my interest.
Sparked your interest.
Sparked my interest in that. So understanding that and knowing the position that I'm in right now, it was something that I wanted to also do, to provide resources or that mentorship for children who may be in those positions now.
Right. And I think that's a very good point, actually, because, you know, like, just think about it. You know, Solomon was in a position where lived in a village where no TV. Well, there was TV, but only way to power the TV was through a car battery. Waiting every day for your uncle to come and watch TV.
Right.
You know, And I don't know what position you might be in, but just imagine where he was now and how that sparked, aspiration for him to pursue that and where he is now. So wherever you may be at the moment, don't really focus on where you are right now. Just focus on your passion and just let that lead you, to whatever it may be, So whatever position you are in right now, just continue to like be creative, continue to be passionate about what you want to pursue and actively pursue it, because you never know where it's going to lead you to.
Right.
And, fortunately for Solomon, it's led him to America, led you to another continent, other continents, other countries, meeting thousands of people, through your art, and even maybe even millions on social media. And speaking of social media, I know you had, through working with your organizations, you had a photo that actually went viral.
Yeah, that was
Jake.
A
Right?
picture of a young boy that I was mentoring in one of our visits to the community that we work with in Ghana. There was a photograph taken by my then artist rep, Carlos Cortez, and I posted that picture on my page at that time, and a year after that,
A whole year
of people, comment and like the word, but a whole year after that, and a picture instantly of just a little boy, just like being creative in the mood of being creative and expressing himself on a piece of paper, just to spark such inspirations and motivations in the hearts of other people.
Yeah.
So that was it goes to tell just how amazing and powerful that platform is.
Yeah.
And also the reason why we continue to do what we're doing, because there are a lot of children who are in those same positions. There are a lot of children who are much like Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about just Google it. There's a picture of this this child who actually Solomon was working with. This boy was named Jake, and Solomon posted this picture a year later. It actually became it blew up. Like everyone, it went viral on Twitter, Instagram. So if you don't know what we're talking about, you probably do know what we're talking about. Just Google Jake. Like, I'm pretty sure his picture's gonna pop up, and you know exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. So that's awesome, man. Like, even through like not for profit doing philanthropy work, you've been able to touch a lot of kids and even like spread your art. That picture might have been funny and humorous to some certain people. And it was entertaining to certain people, but you were able to spread your message about being creative and art at the same time. So in your act of actively engaging your passion, you were able to touch so many people. They might not have thought that firsthand, but your passion of art touched them somehow. So that's really interesting. That's really very, very interesting. Okay. And currently, right now, you're working with a not-for-profit agency here.
We're collaborated last year. My organization collaborated with an organization here called Kicks for the City.
Kicks for the City.
And that we were able to, in our efforts, ship 300 pairs of shoes to the communities in Ghana, in those institutions in which we serve. So that was truly amazing. So
awesome,
it's just,
Great
leveraging our networks and just like being a positive influence in the lives of children, all over. Yeah. So it was such a wonderful thing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like, I know a lot of us kind of have these aspirations to do certain things, but when you actually see it come to life, when you see it, it starts with somebody, standing firm and saying, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to pursue, and I don't care what anyone else has to say. But this is what I know I'm meant to do.
Precisely.
And through that, you were able to create all these wonderful things, that came out of it. So I know you've also been on the news stations out here in Chicago, like spreading your message about art. You've been on WGN, ABC, I know you're doing the Ghanaian community here. A lot of you're inspiring a lot of kids, man. A lot of adults also. You know.
Awesome, yeah.
You know. So I hope this talk is gonna inspire whoever's out there on YouTube or whatever platform this message goes through.
Yeah.
I hope that it inspires you to, like I said, pick up the paintbrush. Whatever your passion may be, like karate or soccer or whatever it was. Pick up the ball, lace up those cleats, and experience that passion. Experience what you feel like. The talents that you feel like you were given, and actively pursue it, But yeah, awesome, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks for
Thank you
stopping
so
by,
much.
man.
Absolutely,
Yes,
sir. Let's talk soon.
Yes, sir.
Do this again.
Yes, sir. You already know. Hey, guys, thanks for stopping by for the very first episode of Internal Pursuit. Got a lot more talks coming your way. I hope that you subscribe, and hope to see you soon. Later.